Hope you guys are ready for another episode of Double D's in your face. That's right.
And here we are. We're back in action, and we're in the segment that is known as Double D's in Your Face. And with the special guest, we've got Kevin Gilligan that is joined with us as well, a former police officer back in New York City that is living a retired life out in the state of Arizona, but working on all kinds of things in the health and wellness sector. So we welcome Kevin to the Double D's in Your Face.
A few weeks ago, Volkanovski and Makhachev fought. Do you think Volkanovski won that fight?
Yeah, I thought he won.
Yeah.
I thought he won.
A lot of people do.
They got ripped off. I thought that was a terrible decision. And, they've got to come up with a better way, a scoring system or judging system. And then when something like that happens, shit, they need to penalize these damn judges. They need to go through.
Yep, I agree.
Talking about, where they did their judging and their scoring, and make them defend it.
What I've seen, again, played off what Don just said there, I happened to go to one of their judges and referees training that was being held in Phoenix. This was a couple years back, just before the whole COVID thing hit, and there were over 400 individuals that were in both classes for both judges and or referees. And at the beginning of the class, they basically went around and everyone would stand on up, one at a time, obviously would stand on up, would state their name, where they're from. And basically you had three classifications. So were you a former fighter? Or were you a fan of? I think that was it, really. Just either you were a fan of, or you might have actually trained it. I was shocked. Out of the 400 people that were there, there might have been 2 or 3 former competitors and or people that actually physically had trained in mixed martial arts. Everybody else was strictly a fan, and it shocked me. I would have thought that these referees get paid well, the judges get paid well, and they get one of the best seats in the house. Why isn't there more of a reach out to former competitors that actually understand the sport? They've actually trained in it, they've actually competed, they understand the mindset of that individual that is out there. And the reality is they'll make better judgments as to when a match should be stopped and not stopped, or how to make verbal contact with the fighters, of saying, if you can't say, you just give me a thumbs up, give me a wink eye that you're still in this fight, otherwise I'm stopping it. But I don't think I think a lot of matches get stopped way too late. The guy got knocked out on his feet. The back of his head, hits that canvas way harder than when he ever got punched with. He gets that whiplash thing happening. And then the guy pounces down on top of him, hits this unconscious individual's 2, 3, 4, 5 or more shots before that referee can get in there to stop the action. Well, first off, I think it's the fighter should almost be penalized, because it's a true athlete knows when somebody's down and out. Moving in, be in a position to do more. But you don't have to simply just layer additional strike after strike after strike, because I always look at, in the long haul, where will that athlete be another 20 or 30 years down the road? When Don Frye came along, you probably had the most complete fighter at that point in time, because you had a striker with a grappling background. He was a grappler first, an amateur wrestler. And then jumped into, it was in Oklahoma that you jumped into boxing, right, Don?
No, I came back here to Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. I thought, okay, then I stand corrected. I thought you acquired that when you were back in Oklahoma at the same time. But
No, sir.
so how many years would you say a boxing background that you had before jumping into your first UFC?
Oh, I had about 1.5 years, 2 years boxing, and then same thing with the judo, spent some time, couple years doing judo, and at the higher level, because I was decent wrestler in college and Division I. And so that puts you at a certain level with everything else. And so I advanced really quickly in the judo world. And so I was up top there in the judo rank really quick.
But even then, when you look at 2 years, 2 years is like what they would consider almost like a journeyman. It's usually when you get that 4 years, then you should be full fledged. But but again, being that you had that wrestling background, probably from an early age on, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I started in the 9th grade. Started wrestling in the 9th grade, and then went to college, and I did okay. I could have done better, but I was a lazy bastard, and
but okay. Did that have anything to do with living with a couple of my younger brothers now? Did that have anything to do with it now?
I like women and beer. Yeah.
Oh.
Those are good things to like. So what about you, Kevin? Do you think that Makhachev won that or lost that fight?
No, I think Makhachev lost too. I was with Volkanovski. I really thought, when you looked at the demeanor after the fight too, you saw who took all the damage. Makhachev took way more damage than Volkanovski. Just looking at them at the end, and Volkanovski looked like he could have gone another 5 rounds when the fight was over.
Oh yeah, no,
and
definitely.
Makhachev was spent.
He was done. He was done in round 4.
But, yeah. I thought Volkanovski was impressive. He was impressive.
Very
coming up in weight,
so.
And I'm looking forward to. It sounds like they're not going to allow the rematch to happen right away. So
no,
looks like Volkanovski is going to have to take the interim title from Yair, and then revisit with Makhachev. But and I think Makhachev is going to fight Poirier. Is that who's lining up with?
That's what it sounds like.
With Makhachev now. Yeah, that should be good. That should be a good fight. I think Poirier, if anybody could do it, Poirier might be able to do it.
I think that Volkanovski, like you said, put up a good fight, but I think Makhachev won. And but it goes back to what Don's saying, based on the way that they judge these fights nowadays. It's lame. You can just, you can if you can just get control over somebody and not do anything, you can win a fight.
Right.
Right.
That's
it goes back to what Don was saying earlier. Even if these are called fights, people want to see a fight. And definitely, I think Volkanovski was the aggressor, but I don't think he won the fight.
Well, he was actually Volkanovski. I got a kick out of. He was talking to him while Makhachev was holding him down there, going, "Yeah, you're holding me down, and you're doing a good job of that." But did you like exactly what you said? Don said, it's a fight. Let's
boring.
Do something while you're down there. Don't just hold him there, because that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Just holding him there. But
I guess they refer to that as the lay and pray more, as if you're staying active. As long as you ground and pound them a little bit there, thump them with some knees, thump them with some hammer fist, stay physically active. So
Dan was always dropping
and you could see,
elbow or something.
Yeah, and you could see on Makhachev's face he was exhausted.
Yep.
He was exhausted. He was just hanging on there, and Volkanovski was. It sounded like he was at a podium doing a speech. He wouldn't shut up.
In good shape.
Yeah. So he was in excellent condition.
I mean, he definitely. He definitely put a hurting on him, and he gave Makhachev the best fight that anyone ever has. And.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised they gave it to Makhachev, but I was really hoping that they like you guys were saying, the scoring would be done differently, and because I would have given it to Volkanovski.
It also goes back to what Dan was saying earlier about why don't we get real people in there know what the hell they're watching. If they asked you guys to judge fights, You know, I think we would get a
Yeah, done
better
again.
score,
Exactly. Yeah.
more accurate of what we've seen. You know, but
That's
then I don't
actually
think,
not a bad idea.
but I don't think they want.
That's not a
I don't
bad
think they
idea.
want someone that has their own opinion that really knows what they're watching. They want someone that they can control and tell, well, no, this isn't needed to win this fight. It's about money. And sometimes,
Yeah, it's yeah, it is. It's interesting how they judge some of these things. You know, the when you look at the cards, the individual cards, you know, how some of these judges come up with some of their scores.
even Patty's last fight, I don't think he won that fight.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Yeah,
that was the one we watched that up in Phoenix. Dan, remember that fight?
Yeah, again, a lot of times I was going to just interject, just say a lot of times while I'm watching a fight, I keep a piece of scrap paper down there, and I'm running my own scorecard right along as I watch the fight, and then to find out, what do the judges come up with? If it goes the full distance, it's got to render to a decision. I'm always wondering what are the judges coming up with, as opposed to what I just came up with. And Mike going, you'd be surprised how many times where I'm wrong, and they came up with, and I'm like, how did you come up with this decision?
right.
So it's
Right.
when you look at just who's taking control of that ring, who's throwing more, who's landing more, who's being the aggressor, who's defending, who's countering. There's I don't know, there's simply just watching. As soon as it gets, just watch that round unfold. When it unfolds at the end of that round, I go to the court, make your notations down at that point in time, but just watch the fight as it unfolds. A lot of times, as it's taking place, I simply know where I always have, which corner, and I just keep making check marks underneath. There's certain things that I look for: who's throwing something, who's landing something, who's the aggressor. I mean, there's just certain things that I just naturally look for. I mean, their 10-point must system. I don't think most of these people that are judging, do they really know what they're even judging? As I said, I went to this event that was, it was being led by Big John McCarthy, best known referee in the industry. And I was shocked to say, out of 400 people, that only a handful of them were former competitors.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah,
They
interesting.
can find people to do that.
Yeah.
No, they can. Well, we'll move on to a fan question. So it says, if you had the power of invisibility, what would you use them for?
Evil.
Evil.
Don, you didn't even hesitate there. I mean, I don't think that.
Like what do you mean?
Tony Byrne had that question off his lips, and you're right there. Evil.
Like putting laser beams on sharks' heads.
That's it.
That's a cool question, though.
Evil.
Elaborate on that, Don. What do you mean? What would you do?
Oh hell!
The list is endless. You should.
You go to the White House and kick Biden in the ass every time that fucker turn.
Right. Yeah.
Over.
Right.
Your leg would be tired.
Yeah. No shit.
Well, I mean, but Don, he wanders around enough as it is to where I don't think I think he thinks someone's kicking him in the ass already, or someone's tapping him on his shoulder, because he looks around like, I'm lost.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go?
Shaking hands and people aren't even there,
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to smell children that aren't even there either.
Oh,
yeah. That guy's a sick person.
Yeah. I don't think he realizes he doesn't have the power of invisibility. He grabbed that little girl's nipple too. Like
what?
Yeah, his sister's something. He supposed to grab some girl's titty. Like she's like a little girl.
When?
This is a while ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's an odd guy. He's done a lot of odd things. Yeah.
Well, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. He's
right.
One of them bastards had too much power.
Come on, Don. He's had a very stellar 40+ year career, hasn't he?
Senators have too much power in this country.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you do with invisibility? You would go do. I know what you would do. You would go to the buffet. It's like, where's all this
Well,
food going?
you would. I think that the cat would be out of bag if they see a carrot cake floating through the air out the door. So,
Well, it's not going to make it that far. It's like,
well, I mean, they'll see it going slowly going down as it heads out the door. I might need to swing back by to get something to drink, though.
Thank you for watching another episode of
Double D's in your face.
You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.